push to.
Can you?
Did you press Mary? Oh, she's not even in here.
We're good?
Yeah.
Alright, 6:31, December 16th, 2025. We're gonna call this special session public hearing to order. We're gonna start with invocation, pledge allegiance. You mind, right?
Father, we ask for your wisdom and clarity as we conduct the city's business tonight. May our decisions be guided with fairness and respect, and the desire to serve the best interests of our community. Grant us unity and purpose and the courage to do what's right. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right. Moving on, number 4 is announcements. Do we have any announcements for the city tonight?
Yeah, we had roughly 25 participants during the parade.
Okay. Pretty good for the first year?
Yeah.
Good deal. All right, any other announcements? Okay, we'll move on to the public hearing. A, consider and adoption on the proposed new zoning ordinance, zoning map, and subdivision regulations. These regulations are being considered for the proposal of promoting the public health, safety, and general welfare, and to guide future land development within the city.
This is the one we're gonna move. This is the public hearing.
What's that? So the hearing is open. Is there any discussion on it?
This is their turn to talk, right?
How did we get away with not waiting until 7 for the next meeting because it's a special session? Since we get everybody signed in, if there's nothing, then we'll move on. All right, everybody signed into the public hearing? Citizens input relating to the public hearing? Nothing? We'll go ahead and close the public hearing then. We'll open special session. Citizens input related to special session agenda items. Huh?
Motion to close.
Oh, sorry. But we'll go with it. I need a motion to close.
I make a motion we close. Second.
Got a motion and a second.
Judge Kobe. Greg Sprinkle.
Closed at 6:35. Open special session. Citizens input related to special session agenda items. Do we have any citizens input? No citizens input. We'll move on. Old business. Presentation on potential health benefit changes for the city staff. Got a presentation. They didn't show up.
I have been feeding information to the agent, one of the agents that I've been working with, but I did not schedule him. If I did, I didn't mean to schedule him for tonight.
Okay.
We got the census to him and some other numbers so he can look real quick and tell us whether what kind of help he's going to be able to give us.
Okay.
And he will come for a presentation once he had time to go through it. But I just got that to him this afternoon.
Okay.
And I have mine's, she said February.
Okay.
Or end of January. I guess it takes a while for when it gets to city.
Okay, so no presentation. We can move on to B, discussion on update on health benefits for the city staff project. think we just pretty much hit those. Are there anything you want to add to those?
Nothing for me.
Okay, we'll move on. 11 is new business. Consider an adoption of the proposed new zoning ordinance, zoning maps, and subdivision regulations. These regulations are being considered for the purpose of promoting the public health, safety, and general welfare, and to guide future land development within the city. She's not here.
Table that till next time.
Table, end of
She's on her way, she's just stuck in traffic. Those
So
are
we
the
just
ones
need to
we
table
need
it and move it down.
Move it down.
Make a motion, we move it down to H, is that where we go? Or, yeah, well, H-I. Give me a good letter.
I would just go to the end of new business.
Okay, to the end of new business.
Okay, so I got a motion to move it to the end of new business. Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Let's go.
Randy Lee.
Greg Sprinkle.
Motion passed. Okay, so we'll move on to B, presentation and discussion regarding the Texas Department of Agriculture Downtown Revitalization Program. Dakota Gray.
I'm right here. Is there any way we could move that down just whenever Caitlin gets here? I've got a few handouts I wanted to pass out, just if that's convenient with you guys.
I make a motion, we move it down to L. Y'all keep me on, y'all keep my alphabet up for me.
You'll have to move C down too.
Yeah, C is gonna need to be moved.
All right, I gotta do one at a time. So I got a motion and I got a second. All in favor?
Let's go.
Who was the second?
Randy Lindsay. Got to me.
Okay.
Greg Sprinkle.
Motion passed. So I'm understanding we're gonna move number C down as well.
Make a motion, we move C down to M. Or wherever it fits, the next, last at the end.
I got a motion. I got a second with Ramsey. All in favor?
Let's go.
Letter.
Randy Lindsay.
Greg Sprinkle.
Motion passed. Move on to D, discussion and or action to award the bid for the Headworks Intake Pump Project at 200 Waterline Drive, DJ,
Or JD.
or JD.
The other one.
Yeah,
On December 8th, the bids were open for Headworks intake pump. The project includes furnishing and installing a new 1,050 gallons per minute raw water vertical turbine pump. 3 bids were received with a low bid of $129,622.42 being turned in by McKinney and Moore Texas LLC out of Jacksonville, Texas. We have completed previous projects with McKinney and Moore and see no reason not to award the contract. Based on our communication with the city, we recommend awarding the base bid to McKinney and Moore for the total contract amount of $129,622.42.
This is less than what we thought it was gonna cost, isn't it?
Yes.
What I
There's a
thought.
total of,
But there's a total cost, which is still less, $133,622.
Yeah, because I remember the estimates for 150 and up.
Yeah.
So, okay.
And the timeline is March through April.
How does that replacement affect the water for the people that live here?
It doesn't really affect the water. It's what we bring in. We'll bring in more water.
Okay, so this is an intake pump.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know of any potential hazards to us as a city? I'm gonna trust what you tell me. So
No hazard.
you feel good about
I
it?
mean, we need it anyway for
We've talked about it before,
Yeah.
right? I'm aware we need it. I'm just asking.
compliance reasons as well.
If you do have any concerns or anything that we should be aware of or that you think might give us any kind of reason for pause.
Council. Is it the only thing that's gotta be upgraded? Or we can upgrade that to something else?
Well, we gotta have that upgraded, but we're also already in the works of getting our other filters fixed and put online. So in turn, it's all gonna help out tremendously on
this pump was originally planned to be within our grant, but because of the cost of everything, this had to be dropped when we did the original grant. So this is over and above the grant that projects we're already doing. Does that help in any way? Or does that give you more questions?
No, that's-
It just confuses me more.
Okay,
So I wasn't around for the original grant. So kind of give me the short version of, we had a grant that included this,
included replacing both pumps.
okay?
All we could do was replace one.
What was the reason we didn't?
Cost of materials in the bids were too high.
So cost of materials, the bids were too
The
high.
bids
So we got a
were-
grant, we got a grant for X amount of
Yes,
dollars.
yes.
What it actually cost to do it was greater than that. So we did one pump. Now we're doing the second pump on top of the grant.
Correct.
Makes sense. Okay. The grant process is new to me, so I'm having to figure it out. But basically, we had a check for X amount.
We had an
What we
amount that
wanted-
we were awarded from TDA, and then we had 3 projects built into that. And then this one had to be supplemented. We had to supplement the original project with the 1 pump versus 2. So whenever you guys wanted to do something over and above, then we thought, since we couldn't do that with the original grant, to do this project next.
Where are we getting the money to pay for it?
So this is gonna come from the surplus that we've had in water sewer.
So the money that we found in water sewer in the budget, will we have to do a budget amendment or is it
We will,
already in there?
we'll look at doing a budget amendment. If this is awarded, we'll look at doing a budget amendment in January.
But can we award this before the budget amendment?
They won't start before we do the budget amendment. though.
It won't be starting.
There's no
until
jeopardy of us them starting and us not being able to pay them.
Correct. They won't be able to start till after January, the timeline of getting the pump materials in.
Yeah, and that's anywhere from March to April.
We wouldn't be making payments till March.
My understanding is we have, from the budget that we did, we do still have that surplus in there, that we had already. I don't remember the exact number, but there was a substantial amount of money in the water sewer department.
Yes, and that's why you guys requested to do this at budget time, to look for projects that were over and above what we had already budgeted in regular maintenance.
And this is one of the ones that came up. Okay. Budget amendment on the 13th,
The regular session,
on the 13th,
yes,
be on the agenda.
it will be.
Okay.
Any other discussion? I entertain a motion.
I make a motion, we approve the awarding of the water pump bid to McKinney and Moore of Texas, as recommended by our engineering firm, Jacob and Martin,
For the base bid.
for the base bid of $129,622.42. Do I need to put on there that it's attached to the budget amendment being approved in January? Okay. I'll make that motion.
Motion on the table.
I'll second it.
I got a motion in a second.
Judge Cody.
Greg Schmickle.
Motion passed. Moving on to E, discussion and or action to award the bid for administration professional services for the upcoming 2026 downtown revitalization program from the Texas Commissioners Development Block Grant Program of the Texas Department of Agriculture. Mary?
Yes. So we opened up the bids and bids were opened for Friday, or they were reviewed today. Deadline for them to come in was Friday. We did receive 1 bid for public management for a total of $68,500. And we're looking for them to do the application, all the administrative services for this downtown revitalization grant. And then we'll have Caitlin and Dakota kind of talk a little bit about the grant a little bit later when she gets here.
And I'm happy to discuss now. She just has the handouts, but I'm happy to kind of give you all a rundown on what the grant is, kind of what we're looking at.
Got one quick question. So only one has come in. Are we okay with accepting it because it's only one when we're supposed to be 3?
Yes, it was published, it was sent out to everybody.
Okay, so we are well within, okay. All right, yes, you don't mind?
Okay. Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Dakota Gray. I'm a project manager for Public Management Inc. I work alongside Caitlin So just to give y'all kind of a rundown, we've got the Downtown Revitalization Grant, DRP, the Downtown Revitalization Program. And right now we're in phase 1 of that. So just to give y'all kind of an overview, so the Texas Department of Agriculture, TDA, will likely open phase 1 community application in January. However, we're kind of doing the preliminary aspects of phase 1, which is, admin procurement, which is, on the agenda to be awarded tonight. And then so the submissions will be due by April 2026. And if approved, the city will be invited to begin the next phase, which is phase 2, where we'll develop a project scope and kind of go from there. And just some program details here. So the maximum grant request is $1 million. The match amount is 5%, so $50,000. And I'll give everyone a handout. Like I said, I know it's kind of a lot of information. So the eligible activities. It must be in the downtown district, which if that's not already identified, we will identify that in phase 1, which is currently happening or soon to be happening in January. Includes pedestrian lighting, pedestrian walkway improvements, street drainage, demolition of non-historic or residential buildings, and street reconstruction. Eligible activities for communities with specific LMI, which is West Tawakoni. At 71.5% LMI, this includes water, sewer improvements, public parking, which is limited to $250,000, outdoor public event space, like plazas, farmers market grounds, like those type of things, public park improvements, public restroom improvements, public Wi-Fi improvements. However, I do want to make note that all items must be permanent. So no temporary usage. So everything must be permanent. Acquisition is eligible when combined with eligible activity. So in other words, if the city doesn't own the land, but a similar entity does, like the EDC, an agreement to allow use must be executed for at a minimum of 5 years. And we can go into the specifics on that. Ineligible uses of this grant would be building improvements or rehabilitation, new construction or facade improvements. So right now, the next steps for phase 1, hire professional services for administration, which would potentially happen tonight. We, PMI, Public Management Inc., we don't have an application fee. So it doesn't cost you guys anything for us to apply on y'all's behalf. And then, we would kind of move into engineering procurement. And then the city would create what's called a TDA, Texas Department of Agriculture, TDA Go account, which is just a system that we kind of insert information into, and that's where we do the formal application for you guys. And then next steps. So, if y'all are invited for phase 2, it looks like hold a public hearing, develop a project scope in an OPC designated downtown district, like I spoke about, adopt a slum and blight resolution, and so on. So, I think the biggest point I want to make tonight is the city did score very well, 79.82. It's definitely competitive, so we feel very confident that you guys would be awarded. Did y'all have any direct questions for me? I know that was a lot of information, and I'll be sure to give you guys the handouts. Just want to see if y'all have any questions for me as far as the grant is concerned.
You said that some of the funds can be used for property acquisition?
Yeah, it says specifically, so it has to be combined with an eligible activity. So if you guys don't own the land, we'd have to essentially have some sort of agreement. But yeah.
I have one, might be a silly question. What's LMI?
Low to moderate income.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's, I expected, I was pretty sure what that was, but
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I knew what the acronym was. Can you lay out for me an expectation of what that $68,000 gets for us? I mean, I get that that you're that you're a property, or a project management company. Lay out for me and say, hey, Greg, you don't know anything about what we do. So give me a kind of a short but easy to understand. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this, and help me with what that impact means to us.
Yeah, absolutely, Greg. So our fee comes directly from the grant, assuming you guys would be awarded. So what that buys the city essentially is complete administrative services. So we apply for y'all. I mean, well, there's not a fee associated with that, but general project management, we have certain milestones that we're going to bill for through the grant. We help with engineering, procurement. We essentially all of the paperwork aspect of doing this grant from start to finish. We would take care of that. We would coordinate with the engineers. We'd coordinate with the construction contractors, subcontractors. We kind of manage all that, payroll management, compliance, just making sure that everything stays on track. So does that kind of answer your question?
So yes, I guess part of what my question is we're going to pay you $68,000 to manage all of this, to manage the construction and manage the payroll and manage the grant application and all that. Stick me an answer of what's going to be there when you're done. Right?
Okay.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm paying you to do construction management and payroll and all this. What are we building? Where are we building it? Do we know that yet?
No, that'll be in the
We
next
don't.
phase.
Okay.
We'll sit
I mean,
down
maybe
and
I'm just,
discuss
yeah.
project scope and everything that goes with that.
Exactly.
They'll help us, guide us along the way through the whole process.
I mean, I get that you're going to do the work. That's not what I'm questioning or what I'm asking. What I'm saying is, what am I getting for my money? Because I know that at the end of the day, we're going to get the grant, and that's going to reimburse us for what we're paying you. We got to pay you up front to help us get that.
I totally understand that.
Get it.
Yes, sir. I totally understand that. So based off what the grant already provides, the answer to that question would be a lot. Based off of West Tawakoni's low to moderate income, LMI, percentage of 79.5%, that opens a whole nother door to additional items that the city can get. And it just goes back to water, sewer improvements, public parking, in addition to, lighting, sidewalks, those type of things. So it really, I wish I had the answer right now as far as this is what the project's going to look like at the end. We just haven't gotten there quite yet as far as deciding how are we going to spend this money. But right now the answer is we have a plethora of options and ways we can spend the money.
Good.
Yeah. Any other questions?
No.
All right.
So I have a question that might answer this question. So is this going to be treated similar to how our current CDBG grant is, and you guys would send your request, your payment application into TDA, and then they send us the money,
Exactly.
then it's paid through.
Exactly.
So where you think we're paying them all up front, we're not. We'll pay them in increments once we receive the grant.
But we will owe them the money regardless of whether or not we get the grant.
So that's a question.
No.
Oh,
No.
So 68.5.
I mean, you just made it real easy for me.
That's why.
Right.
That's only if we get the grant.
I'm just worried about the 68 grand if we don't get the grant.
No. So, and Greg, I apologize. I should have clarified that. So the 68,000 is pending if y'all are awarded. However, we don't have an application fee. So if y'all are awarded the grant, that money comes through the grant. So we have milestones we'll bill for. So the TDA doesn't just say, hey, West Tawakoni, here's X amount of money, start paying people out. We can only submit pay applications and things like that at certain thresholds. For us, engineering, even construction, it's less. The thresholds are less, but essentially everything has to be submitted to TDA, and then they release X amount of dollars to the city, and the city releases it to us. And
Fully understand. Just
that makes sense.
I was more concerned about I was more concerned about the risk versus reward, especially if there was no automatic, it's not automatic. It's 75.8 or 79.5 or whatever number we are. It's not automatic that we get a grant. We may not meet all the qualifications.
Right.
And if we don't, but we're still, responsible to pay you.
No.
And I fully understand that. That makes it very simple for me.
Yeah. You guys are not on the hook for $68,000 if you award us tonight. Pending if you guys are awarded the grant, if that makes sense. We have no application fee, nothing like that. So,
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. Any other questions?
Yeah, in terms of the grant, how long do we have from the award to project completion?
Yeah, so what I've kind of come up with here is, right now, it looks like if the city gets awarded, the grant will start February 1st, 2027, with construction potentially beginning late 2027 to early 2028. So that's kind of the timeline we're looking at right now, just because we're kind of in preliminary phase one, which will typically starts in January of 2026, and then we enter phase two by April. So it is a little bit of a process, but a lot of that is, admin procurement, engineering procurement, bidding, bidding out whatever it is that we're going to do. Yeah, so does that answer your question as far as the timeline? Yeah. So late 2027, early 2028.
So what happens if we are not awarded the grant in March of 2026? Does this apply if we go and reapply in March of 2020 or 2027? Right. So we have to go through this process again in 2026 for 2027, or does this carry over until then?
It doesn't carry over, so we would encourage you guys to apply again. And there's nothing, as far as the score of 79.82 that West Tawakoni received, there's nothing that it's all based off of HUD data, so there's nothing that we can do to improve the score or make it better. So we would encourage.
Little different part of my question, little different question. His question is, for some reason we don't get it, we don't qualify, not because of our score or because of whatever, but there's paperwork issues, there's whatever. We don't get the bid in 2026. Do you guys stick with us in 2027 to do the same thing, or the 2027 grant opportunities, or is it the same grant opportunity, or do we go through a different process to do it?
So Public Management Inc., PMI, is more than happy to assist you guys in any grant that y'all might need help with. However, this is specific to the DRP Downtown Revitalization Program. So are you speaking from the standpoint?
So is this our only shot at it?
No.
Okay, I guess that's my question.
This is not your only shot, and if for some reason, we feel very confident that you guys will be awarded. If for some reason you aren't, we would encourage y'all to reapply.
And they will guide us along the way.
Yeah.
We would still have to do procurement and everything
Yeah.
else in the process, but
Yeah.
they would still be available to us.
I do want to make one thing, but y'all scored competitively, so we feel very confident.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Nope.
All right.
We need to do the award of the bid and the motion that I.
So, yeah.
Okay, so make a motion to award the administration services contract for the 2026 Downtown Revitalization Grant to Public Management in the amount of $68,500 for the application and grant administration service.
Got a motion on the table?
Second that.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
That's Kobe.
Randy Lindsay.
Greg Sprinkle. Motion passed.
Thank y'all.
Sir.
Appreciate you.
No.
You good, Randy?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to F, discussion and or action to appoint city council place 5.
We'll have nobody here.
Don't have anybody here.
Don't have anybody here?
No, we don't want to keep this on here.
Are you
No, I
tabling
have
it?
a question or a suggestion or something of that nature. We do officially want to post this and have applications to bring in each week, each meeting, right? I'm understanding how we talked about it last week.
We did suggest opening it up to applications.
That's why I just want to make sure that
Did anybody watch the meeting and apply?
So we have, this one, we got one person interested.
No, I think we have more than one person interested. I just don't think we've had anybody
nobody officially.
physically come up, and I think we were opening it to people other than the ones that we had already talked to. I think we were giving everybody an opportunity to do that. And we didn't have anybody.
So if we table it and make sure our citizens know that it's opened up for applications.
Table it until January 13th. I make a motion, we table until January the 13th.
I got a motion on the table.
Second.
Judge Kobe.
Rex Michael.
Who was the second? Okay.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor, motion passed. G, discussion on our act and or action to create a park committee.
This is me.
This is me.
What's me? Not you, it's me. Okay, so I made a few notes. So this kind of goes along with our legacy projects and the park project. And after that meeting 2 weeks ago, I had multiple residents and multiple people reach out to me wanting to be a part of the program, wanting to be involved. So I got 5 of them together, and I sat down with each one of them individually over the course of the 2 weeks, talked about where we want to go and what we want to do. And through some conversations with Lee about the difference between a committee and a board and a council, you know, the different restrictions on government entities. Number one, let me tell you, after that last update, the enthusiasm behind what we want to do at the park is incredible. The number of messages, the number of phone calls, the number of people that want to be involved, and the number of people that have an incredible amount of interest in the park becoming what I believe it can become and what they believe it can become. And so the group of volunteers that I've put together are extremely energetic, and I have to read some of this because I had to write it down because I really struggle with public speaking. They're extremely energetic, they're extremely enthusiastic, they're focused, and most importantly, they're following a guideline of positive outlook only. It is, let's don't talk about the things that have failed in the past. Let's don't talk about the struggles that have happened in the past. Let's look forward, let's look positive, and let's do everything we can to follow what I believe is the most important thing we can do in this city, and that's change the narrative from negative to positive. And they have jumped on board with it. Ramsey will attest to this. We have a little group text message thing going. Since we started this conversation, over 500 text messages in that one text group. It's amazing. So they're already working. I've already grabbed these 5 people that I think are really involved in really everything else. What I would like for you guys to do is allow me to have a committee, not run by the city. This is citizens input. This is nothing but people that want to be involved in the park saying, Greg, give us the ideas that you want to move forward with in the park. Let us go do the legwork. Let us go do all the work. Let us give you our input about what we think is important there. And they listen to other people because they talk that, you know, it's 5 different people. It's not one group. It is 5 completely different people. And those 5 people have talked to their neighbors and their friends about what they want, and they have brought it back. And we believe the very first thing we need to do is the basketball court and the basketball goals and add a pickleball court to it. So they have diligently worked for at least a week, 10 days on getting equipment pricing, talking to different vendors, getting ideas on what the type of goals and the type of netting and the type of striping we want to do. They've been getting pricing and all that. My intention, and I believe that this is true, is by January 13th, I'll be in here ready to present you guys with a proposal and an action plan and an execution plan, as well as a project plan on how to get it done. I have a meeting with EDC. As a council, we asked EDC to let us bring them things, basically a grant form, to be able to talk to them about these are the things we want to do in the park, and we would like your money to help it. So we'll be able to do that. I believe I'm having that meeting next week. It was scheduled today, but it didn't happen.
Now, is it limited to 5 people, or can somebody that wants to be on it, or?
I think it needs to stay at 5. And the reason I say that is because when you get too many people in a group, it's hard to get an agreement.
Right.
And to be honest, these 5 people are really working together well. And I have to say, they don't all like each other. They're not crazy about working with each other, but they're all willing to work with me and work with each other in that group as long as the focus stays positive. And to me, the fact that it's a committee, it doesn't, doesn't have to adhere to 3 of them get together and have lunch, post a quorum and wait 72 hours and do all the things. This is an advisory group to us. And I'm going to be the conduit between them and you. So you guys don't have to deal with 27 phone calls, 35,000 text messages, all that. I'm going to take 100% responsibility for it. I am happy. To be honest, that question really brings up something. I think step 2 is to create right now we're calling it a park fan club, because that's really what it is. It's people that are fan clubs of the park want it to be great. Yeah. The next thing I want to do is I want to have a park army. I want an army of people to be willing to volunteer, to be willing to give us time, effort, money, sponsorship, contacts, whatever it takes. And so what I'm really asking of you guys is to say, hey, Greg, you can run with this. I have a resolution. We didn't quite get it done for this meeting because of the struggles in other cities, and our attorney didn't get time to get it done. And on the 13th, I would like to bring you a resolution that lets me form this committee. I will be responsible for their behavior. I will be responsible for my behavior. I will be responsible for everything that comes out of this group, but I am their conduit to bring you things that we can do in the park that you can vote on and say, this is a good thing. We can get the money for this and we can do it. We have to have some wins. If we're going to change the narrative in this city, we have to have wins. The water line was an enormous win for us as a city. The basketball courts and the park having something physical, visible, usable, and an attraction is going to be an enormous win for us. It's not a giant expense, but it is a giant win. And that's step 1. And some of the stuff that these folks are dreaming up, it's incredible. And we have really, I can't tell you how proud I am of this group of people. I never would have believed it 3 weeks ago, but Ramsey, have you seen it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing. I would have never dreamed that would work the way it is. Really cool.
It's going to be a testament to what we can do in this city when all of us have a common objective.
We making a motion tonight, or we waiting?
If you're waiting on your resolution, or do we table this to your resolution?
So I really just kind of would like feedback from you guys, just to say, hey, look, because we're in a meeting, we're in a quorum, so what are we looking at?
I support it 100%.
Me too.
That's 3 out of 4. I'll vote for James. I'm joking. We'll table it. So I'd like to table this until January 13th when I have a resolution, and expect to see good things from us that are solid, sound, and can be executed.
Motion?
That's my motion. I motion to table it until January 13th when we can vote on it.
Got a motion on the table?
Judge
Motion in a second. All in favor?
Judge Kobe.
Ramsey Lindsay.
Greg Sprinkle.
Motion passed. Good work.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to H, discussion and or action to approve the resolution, the reallocation of funds from city personnel
Or city personnel.
okay, sorry guys. Fund for city personnel. Guess you get this one?
I can, but this, because it's regarding personnel, we want to go back into
Move it
executive session.
into executive session.
That's why I had that there to go into.
Did it change from the last meeting's?
I have numbers for you.
Okay, that'll work. Yeah. I'll make a motion. We go into executive session.
I'll second that.
Very briefly.
I got a second.
Judge Kobe.
Ramsey Lindsay.
Yellow stuff fast.
Good to vote.
Oh, Greg Sprinkle.
Going into executive session at 7:11.
So I can read it. Eight. Got it, okay. Want to make a motion that we approve the reallocation of funds for city personnel. Of adding the budget amendment
Yes.
for $1,600. And,
Do you have the budget number? Here. So it's gonna be for $1,660.95, moving it from general fund admin department to the community development department.
community development department. Okay. Thank you.
And
And then salary, for department heads going to salary. Instead of hourly.
A second that.
I got a motion and a second.
Jeff Kobe.
Greg Sprinkle.
Motion passed.
Sorry, buddy.
We're rich.
All right, so we're gonna move on. So we had originally moved A, B, and C down, so we're gonna go back to A. Consider an adoption of the proposed new zoning ordinance, zoning maps, and subdivision regulations. These regulations are being considered for the purpose of promoting the public health, safety, and general welfare, and to guide future land developments within the city. She's here.
I'm here. I made it. I apologize for making y'all wait on me. Y'all seen me a lot recently, so I really hope that there's not too much y'all wish to discuss. I do want to show y'all once again the map. The changes from the last meeting were made to the district in which we discussed last time I was here, just so y'all all can see that in confirmation. There was no other changes that we made last meeting besides for the plan development change. That has also been made to the text and sent over to the city staff. Is there any other areas that y'all would like me to discuss? I know we've discussed in depth a lot about what this is going to do, how it's going to change, the processes we're about to be adopting. Is there any other questions that I can really answer for y'all guys before we move forward with this process?
We're good. We're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Question for me.
All right.
Okay. I'm gonna.
We're glad you showed up.
Thank you. I tried. Fort Worth didn't want me to get here, but you know, I tried.
Worst never fun.
So we need a motion to adopt. Yep. All right, entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the proposed new zoning ordinance, zoning map, subdivision regulations.
I got a motion on the table.
I got a question. Hold on. What was that paper that was just passed? Was that for that or something else?
Which document are you looking at, sir?
What was just passed out? Was this it? We've only got passed out today.
I passed out.
This?
Yeah, is that for this?
No.
What we're
No,
voting
that's
on?
a different.
Okay, all right, all right. Just want to make sure, because I haven't even read that yet.
All right, I got a motion.
Second.
I got a second.
Chad Jacoby.
Ramsey Lindsay.
Greg Sprinkle.
Motion passed. All right. Moving on to B, presentation and discussion regarding the Texas Department of Agricultural Downtown Revitalization Program. That brings Dakota back up.
We kind of already.
Well,
We
you
just
did.
talked about that.
Yep.
I'm happy to answer any more questions you guys have.
So we don't need to do anything with it.
Where exactly?
Now, C was the other one
Where exactly would our downtown area be now?
It's what we just.
Is it all the overlay area?
Yes.
Yes.
All this patchwork right here.
Good.
And that's where y'all's downtown district would be established. However, the project area will then be defined further dependent upon what project y'all decide to go for and things like that.
Yeah, Caitlin, is this completely done or is this in the works right now?
This is, well, once they get, actually with item A that they just adopted, this downtown district is.
Okay,
Yes.
this is perfect. And this, like Caitlin said, this kind of, it it narrows down an area of work and type of work.
We do crosswalk for that,
Crosswalk?
like across the highway?
Do you like crosswalks?
We can do like, crosswalks, ADA, compliant.
Where do you wanna go?
Yeah, I wanna go, oh, no, we want a bridge.
It's a very good bridge in Dallas.
Yeah,
Don't put quite enough money in there, but.
Keep asking Chad, I just want a cable to run across there. Keep asking for a bridge.
Yeah.
Make my cable sound cheap. Zip line.
Zip line across the highway.
Yeah. We charge for that.
Right to the lake.
Put a toll booth on it.
All right, so we're good. We're gonna move on to C. Discussion and or action to enter a master service agreement with public management for the planning consultant for the West Tawakoni. For West Tawakoni.
That's the document that was being passed around.
Yep,
So there's-
that's this.
Yeah, there's two documents in y'all's packet. I'm gonna go over one of them first because dependent on how y'all choose to act on that will determine if I even need to talk about this second document here. So you will see a master service agreement in front of y'all. This is something we've talked about very briefly in the previous meetings I have been in. However, we haven't really gone too much into detail. So I'm going to take some time to explain why we brought this to y'all, the purposes behind why this was asked of us to bring this to y'all, and how this is going to look for the city moving forward with this project. So this master service agreement would be for planning services in their entirety and on their own. So that means we would not be doing engineering, we would not be doing grant consulting. This would just be for the planning purposes. So me, myself, and I, what I've been doing with y'all for the last few months now. This specifically was first brought up with the comprehensive planning grant. So when we brought up the comprehensive planning grant, y'all know we made y'all land use maps, we made housing maps, and we made things like that we had on digital availability for Shannon to use. Y'all know that the maps that we've been showing y'all for the past couple months in regards to zoning have been on digital format for y'all to review, all those types of things. When that was brought up with the comprehensive planning process, it was brought to us by city staff of how could we do this for extended period of time? How can we continue to have mapping properties like this, not only for ourselves, but for public works, et cetera, et cetera. This was our answer to that, was to enter an MSA with public management, the planning department in specificity, that would show that we are working on these projects, and we would pretty much help y'all set up y'all's own online mapping system. Y'all would own it outright, so it would not be as if y'all were paying for us to host the layers. Y'all would own y'all's own mapping system. We would help y'all set up that platform. And then from there, we would also be in charge of making regular updates. If y'all were to make any zoning changes, if y'all were to have any parcel changes or anything like that, y'all would easily be able to shoot us over an email and we could get that change made to y'all as soon as possible. That was the main purpose in which why this document was created, was to give y'all the ability to do that. Of course, this wasn't brought to y'all a year ago because for the past year, y'all had that resource already through the other contracts y'all had with our company. By taking it out of contract and into an MSA, what that allows is instead of having to come to council, come to P&Z for every single decision, every single contract, it would be a discussion where Mary says, okay, it's this quarter, we have these zoning changes that need to be reflected on our map. I'm going to email Caitlin and she'll get these updates made in the next 4 weeks, without having to go through a major council discussion every single time. Additionally, from that discussion, as we were adopting zoning, as y'all are well aware, we're making a lot of changes to the ordinance. We're making a lot of changes in the regulatory practices that y'all will be following. We also went through and we made a lot of changes overall in the text and length of the document. So another potential that y'all have through this MSA is to decide to do a task order with us that would look pretty much as general planning consulting, to where if there was ever a specific thing that came up on a P&Z agenda or on a council agenda that y'all would like public management to be present to discuss on, the same way y'all bring Lee in for meetings that y'all think she needs to be here, or the same meetings y'all bring Christy in for engineering purposes, y'all be able to do the same thing with us, to bring us in for some of those hard discussions, or if there's any questions that y'all have on the ways to proceed. The contract that's in front of y'all right now, signing this would not give us the right to do any of that. This is just opening up the agreements to, we are working with y'all and y'all are working with us, and we have that understanding. Post this, come January, we would then set up the task order agreements and whatever decisions y'all decide are necessary. If that's mapping, if that's overall planning services, whatever y'all think is necessary, that's when we'll start those discussions and get those things in the work. This is just to set up that initial agreement between the client and the city that we would like to go into this agreement with y'all. Speaking for myself, I've loved getting to work with y'all, and I don't want to see that relationship end whatsoever, and I would like to continue to see y'all, you know, in betterment of the city and help y'all through anything y'all might possibly need.
She's been awesome. Her whole team has been awesome. I just want to add that. Very helpful.
Yeah, just from my perspective, being a short timer, previous councils choosing you guys to do the work for us made what we had to do a whole lot easier.
Thank you. Yeah. So, at this point, I can answer any questions that y'all might have. Anything y'all have in regards to this, I'm more than happy to answer and discuss. To put it really simply, signing this would pretty much be the same contract y'all have with Jacob Martin currently. Y'all have an MSA set up with them to be y'all city engineer. This would be an MSA set up to be for us to be y'all city planner and for y'all to call on us whenever needed. And I also want to note, just because she's not here, Lee has completely reviewed this and given her sign off on it as well.
My next question.
Yes.
Somebody look at this and understands all the work.
Yes. Lee looked at one version. I went ahead and made edits, and then she also looked at the second version and gave a thumbs up on it. And of course, if there is anything that her council would like to change, our company is always more than understanding of that, and we'll be happy to make adjustments.
So what are some examples of why we would call you or other cities call you for?
So first one that I mentioned earlier would be mapping, having us help. Y'all do not have anybody in office, in-house currently that can handle a GIS system. So that would be the first one. According to federal legislation, you have to have an up-to-date zoning map. And when you don't, that puts y'all at very large risk to multiple different things on a legal standing. So that's always the first one that we enter MSAs with clients, is just to make sure zoning, land use stays in order and nobody can come dispute them. The second one that we come up is, especially in cities that are just starting out with zoning or starting to ramp up their zoning departments or their development of those areas in the way y'all are, is to come into specific meetings to help answer questions. Say for instance, there's a lot of land use tables in there and not everything is going to fall, even though we tried to make everything fall as neatly as possible. Sometimes certain projects are going to come up that don't. And so in those situations, you'd be able to call us and we would sit there and talk you through our planning perspective of what would be the best practice. Sometimes it's a 5-minute phone call with us that then is going to keep you from having to pay Lee the 6-hour phone call to go through all the legal documents. But sometimes it's vice versa. I mean, I'm as I've told y'all multiple times, I'm not an attorney. So there's that relationship between the two of us, and we would work in tandem quite frequently, depending on what the request is that is asked. The third base that we really kind of help with and work with development on is any specific resolutions or planning related resolutions that y'all would like to pass. We already have a very good backstock of those. So depending on what it is the city's needing, we can easily pull that out of our pocket and provide it if y'all were to need it. Of course, that would be, very little charge, as we already have those accessible. And it would just save the city time in having to do that in-house. This is an agreement that we, as a planning firm, always likely make them now to help y'all. And once y'all can stand on y'all's own 2 feet, we will 100% understand if it gets, pushed to the side, because that's what we want. We want y'all to grow and be able to do this on y'all's own. But for right now, if we were told that the need was there to kind of assist with some training wheels for a little bit, and that's what we'd like to do. And that's kind of what we do for all of our clients.
You also have a lot of grants too, right?
Huh?
What grant?
So that's actually what this piece of paper is going to be for. But yes, we do help with grants. When it comes into what this MSA is going to be in relation to, you'll have access to my services. So I know the planning grant, I know the grants, I know our CDBG, I know our DRPs, I know our MIT mods, I know the list and its extensiveness. I sit in the same meeting that our project managers sit in. So as your planning consultant, I can always sit here and say, hey, I looked at y'all's comprehensive plan this year. Between me and Christy, we've identified these 1 or 2 grants that we might think y'all need to go out for. And that would be part of my services. I do want to make it very clear, and we'll get into this document if y'all do decide to sign this, that I would not be your grant consultant. I will sit there and I can propose grants to you from a planning perspective. But once we actually get into administration and procurement and all of that, I will take a step back to ensure we stay within federal standards and making sure there's no conflict. There we go. I apologize. It's been a long day.
We want all the grant. Just don't even leave any off.
Okay.
All of it.
I know. So, and we had that conversation really early on when we first started these discussions with comprehensive planning, where I told y'all that our company is going to come to y'all with anything and everything that we think the city would do well on, but we're not going to waste y'all's time in applying for stuff that y'all aren't even ever going to see the light of day on. And we're going to try to make sure that we continue that relationship. That's why we brought y'all's URP, because it's one that y'all could possibly see the funding from. There might be some that we decide not to bring to y'all, just because, and we'll explain that if we ever do choose to do that.
That's one of the big reasons why I wanted to bring them on. Shannon has her also reasons, but grants are a big thing. We don't have enough staff in office to be able to search consistently for things, and knowing the right scoring mechanism. They are the professionals, so I like to find the professionals in the field. The mapping is going to be super awesome to have. Outside of just the legal standpoint, if we had to have an updated map, they know the maps into the system. They're going to teach us how, all the ways to do those maps. And we'll be looking at our infrastructure maps next as well. That's just my take on it.
We will, yes. Any other discussions?
Do you want to talk about the second document now, or you want to wait till?
I would like them to stay on this item, but make the motion, and then I'll talk about this document.
Does that make sense?
All right, so I make a motion that we accept their proposal to enter into a master services agreement.
Okay, got a motion on the
I'll second
table?
that.
Got a second. All in favor?
Judge Gobi?
Greg Slinker.
Motion passed.
Thank y'all so much. I appreciate it. So with that, we will wait for this to get signed off. There's a few pieces of information in here that y'all have to fill out, but very simple.
Yeah.
Y'all have the digital version as well to e-sign and send it back over to me. And then we'll save that on file. So now this lovely document. This we kind of already went over a little bit ago. But this is pretty much just defining for y'all the roles and responsibilities outlined in the MSA versus outlined in our grant administration department. So overall, this is kind of, I like to just say, the cheater's guide as to who do we call when something goes wrong kind of situation. As you see, there's the Master Service Agreement overview explaining that the MSA is limited to planning services authorized by the city. So planning related only. That is what your MSA is regarding. Anything outside of planning related services, such as our grant administration department at public management, would be separate. And so we ask that Dakota Gray, or if y'all ever get another designated project manager to y'all city, they would be the point of contact for those type of situations. What this helps is, one of all, it helps city staff keep the two areas separate, because most of the time you don't want the same person emailing you about both things, especially when one has to do with paying people and a lot of federal stuff. The second thing that this ends up helping with and assisting is on our end, depending on the task orders that we go into, they could either be lump sum task orders, they could be billed hourly task orders, they could be a mix of lump sum plus hourly. And so I never want y'all to call me and it be something that it should be under the grant side, what the grant is already funding. And so this really ensures that we're keeping a clear discussion there and a clear line there on where those two things are happening. And we're not crossing over, we're making sure there's no conflict. So if future grants were to come out, we would still probably submit for it, but y'all wouldn't be it wouldn't be our relationship that would be affected. It'd be the relationship with the department of our grant administration department. And that's all I really wanted to say. I just wanted to make sure we all were on page with that and in alignment. Yes, sir.
My understanding would be that you would tell us if we were asking something, or
Yes.
doing something outside of the,
Yes.
outside of the contract.
Yes.
You would say, hey, this is not really covered by our contract.
Yep.
If you want me to dig into this, it's gonna apply at our hourly rate. or whatever.
Exactly.
Now, all I wanna make sure is that you're gonna give us a warning and not a
Yes.
bill.
Oh,
Yes.
she does. She gives us
Okay,
lots
that's
of-
cool.
Hey,
Yes.
call this person. Okay.
Yes. And with our task orders, I also just wanted to outline, we have an example task order in the document in front of y'all. Y'all will see how we have lump sum, hourly not to exceed, and hourly time and materials. We also have items in here allowing all of the different things we do, the assumption of deliverables. The biggest one is in here, there is a resolve for payment item. I know in the past when we worked with y'all, we've scheduled or discussed the payment being like we'll start work now, but the payment will be next fiscal year. Those types of relationships and agreement will still be with this. We will still work with those types of things, even if it's not strictly outlined like that. That'll be written in the task orders that we end up writing with y'all on when we expect to get paid. So do not feel like we're going to start changing the way we expect to be paid from y'all. We will maintain the same relationship. So, anything else that I can do for you? Okay, amazing. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, so moving on.
Now we're on 12.
We are on 12 now. Discussion, let's see, city administrator recruitment progress. Discussion and or action on the progress of recruiting of a city administrator, possible executive session.
I'm not sure we need an executive session. but I have passed 3 names, Mary, to contact for you and I to do the first round of the first stage of the interview.
Okay.
And I'm available anytime, so you can just make it match your schedule and we'll do it.
I will say I've reached out to those 3 requesting availability for virtual interviews. I have not heard back yet, but
Will you do us a favor and let us know when we get another applicant? So because I keep going back and checking the Dropbox thing, and I'm doing it off of the old email. So it's really just kind of me checking in. But if we get an application, can you just shoot us an email and say, hey, or shoot me a text message, hey, I got another applicant, just so we can kind of vet them and move them faster.
so the last one we got was yesterday.
So those 3 have admin experience?
2 of those 3 do. And I think we'll probably, we may revisit, we'll have to talk a little bit more about it. We may revisit one from the first round.
Any other discussion? No action to be taken? So we stayed in regular session, so we can go on to number 13. Legacy project progress. Just let y'all take them one by one. Of course, James is not here this evening. He is out with family.
Can I speak on James a little bit?
Yes, please do.
So, we met today on his streetlights throughout the city. He is working with Farmers Electric. He's established some contacts with them. He's asking me to get, identifiers on all the telephone poles throughout 276 Mains Lane and Rabbit Cove. We're gonna try to separate that into 3 projects, mainly because downtown is right in the middle. And we want to, if we can use that grant
Exactly.
money for that, then that would be its own separate project. But either side of 276, Maze Lane and Rabbit Cove would be separate projects. That's where he's at on that.
How many of them are out, do you know?
I don't know. We've got, that is as far as we've got.
Better question, how many exist?
That's about where we're at. We need to go out and identify what they are.
And I can add one more thing to James. In some of the discussion in Greg's Fans of the Park group, one of the participants sent me an email saying that she and had a map saying that the county at one time had plans she thought related to the connecting 276 to Rabbit Cove. And so I've got a call into the county to see if I can find out what that is. And
It was a pretty detailed map. It was pretty interesting to see what the county had planned. It's part of the entire connector thing going from McKinney all the way around here and everything. But it included a connector off of 276 all the way down to Rabbit Cove.
Telephone Road almost goes all the way there.
Yeah, you know, y'all are out of my wheelhouse.
This is
Town
county.
streets. But this was all county stuff and text dot.
Telephone Road's right here.
yeah, anyway, as soon as I'll report at one of the next meetings as soon as I hear back.
Nice. Okay.
And I also reached out to Christy on potential studies, so this will kind of key into yours as well. She's going to look at getting me some quotes. Of course, I don't see that she can give me quotes next week, I mean, with holidays, but she is aware of what studies to be looking at, getting us some questions and things of that nature.
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay, so on the radio read, Waterworks, Ferguson Waterworks, they called, and we were talking about where to get funding, and it turns out that one of the names the first name he recommended was Government Capital, who financed the police cars through. One of the reps from Government Capital called me just on my way to come here, and they'll put together proposals for it once we need to get the presentation from Ferguson here on the 8th, and we'll get some numbers. At this point, I don't even know what the meter costs.
Do you know who you spoke with at Government Capital?
Give me a second.
I mean, I have a direct connection over there. That's who we use all of our trucks and vehicles and stuff with.
Hang on, like,
Those
smart meters. Put them in an arrowhead on the new water line. You gotta replace them anyway.
Landon Newton.
Who?
Landon Newton.
So Marty's who you just work with. When we go out for that proposal, would it be easier if we use the same person we always use to get the proposal?
I'm not sure. I think Landon works, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I'll find out.
I mean, I can get a hold of her and ask her just as easy. I just wasn't sure if there was a reason for the specific one.
And I don't know if this was part of the deal when we bought the police cars, but they said that on these meters, they'll do a one year with no payment.
Yes, we do that with our police vehicles.
And they said they'll finance them.
They're gonna bring us 10 meters to our next meeting.
I'm not sure they're bringing them to the next meeting.
Yeah,
but
he called me today and told me.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, they're gonna put 10 meters in, and what they proposed is to put the new meter in, and then
Yeah, put it in line
our
with it.
existing meter, so you can compare the readings between the two, and we'll see how the old mechanical meters.
Yeah,
How accurate it really is.
how they
It'll tell you the water loss.
So, I think it would be prudent for us to decide ahead of time which meter we're going to take as the reading for the invoice for the bill. If we put 2 meters on there and one says, 107 and one says 112.
We'll take the radio read's gonna be more.
I agree 100%, but we need to make sure that we're clear on that there can't be a discussion about, hey, we're putting this here to compare, and this is the new meter, and this is the one we're taking the reading.
Mhm.
Right? Because then if we don't state that up front, I think we leave ourselves open to argue.
Yeah.
Or discussion, and I don't want to spend time on something it's not a point to be argued.
But so yeah, they are bringing in. And they'll also be going over a, return on investment. Based on our numbers. Healthcare insurance, we touched on that earlier. Get the census, current cost to the agent, this afternoon. He'll get back. And Mary's getting it, cost, engineering cost estimates for Rabbit Cove and Maze Lane. Short-term rental. We sat through, a demo last week for Zora. And they have an entry-level report, which is $1,500 a year. And it does two things. One, it identifies a short-term rental. They give us an initial report, and then periodically they give us a delta report. And so that delta will reduce the work of having to go through and check all the stuff. You just know, here are the changes. The interesting thing that comes with that report, the critical thing that comes with that report, is it shows from the data they scrape from the booking sites, it shows the number of days that they believe that the property was booked and an average price per booking. So we can look at the tax payments and see if it's a sanity check, so we can see whether we're being paid for what's really going on.
But you can't tell if they had it closed,
No, you can't.
so it doesn't make sense to me
Well,
that that's really an accurate number.
it's
You
not-
can't tell, they may have it closed for 6 months, but you're gonna say that they had it booked for 6 months.
It's not ironclad, but to this point, we have nothing. And so at least it gives us a sanity check.
Yeah.
And at $1,500 a year, I think that's what, 3 hours a week, 3 hours a week.
Doing the math, it's
Shannon
3 hours a
County.
week.
I'd rather see her do something more important than go through and see which short-term rentals, which new properties come on and off the list. Then Shannon also pointed out to me and has a handout here about the fund view. They have through their code enforcement module, they can handle a lot of that. They actually handle the workflow. The registration and permitting, they can give, reminders for annual renewals.
And this is a module that we are currently already getting.
Yeah.
It's included in it.
And so I think between the two of those things, we have a pretty good solution. It's not 100%. And I think, but I think that's going to cover just about all the parts of this operation. The only thing that I don't see yet is I think that comparison of what Azora's report says they think, the booking and what we get. I think that is outside of either one of these two systems. So as the payments come in, that's going to be a manual process, unless there's something that I don't know about the fund view side of it.
FundView is gonna allow it's gonna allow me to put them into the system, put the updates in there, so they need to renew at this time. It'll send me all of that. It's gonna allow them to fill out the application, it's gonna allow them to pay their yearly fees, all of that, schedule the inspections, all of that can be done through FundView. Mostly, I'll still have to call the inspector and schedule, but most of it will be done through FundView. The HOT is a totally separate module that FundView is actually working on developing. It's an accounts receivables module, if I'm understanding it correctly, and the HOT would come into that module once it's created. if we were to obtain that.
So to add to the hot part of it, we currently, it's not a super manual process, but we do have to input those architects are already getting. It's more of like a receivables, more of anything, it goes into the general ledger. It's not tying it to a person or an address. We're just entering in. That kind of answers a little bit of that. And the development phase of that one, I think, will help tie it to the actual address. Track it.
So when you get a check, when you get a deposit of a hotel occupancy tax, it doesn't list for you what the properties are and the amounts that they.
Their report does. So they
Okay.
have a physical report that they give
Okay.
us, and they are supposed to give us the same copy of the report they send over to the comptroller as well,
Who sends that to you?
the property owner.
Okay.
Right now, we're not getting a ton of hotel occupancy tax from everybody, but the ones that do send, they send me a report of what their total sales were, and then what the percentage is back to me.
Sounds great. Do we need to create an action item for next month to start with? What do we need to do to get the two programs going for us now?
Undo is already currently being done.
Right.
Been approved by council.
Like we're.
Right. We're already doing that. Are we gonna discuss and add? We have action items for next time. I know it's not on there as an action item tonight, so.
I do think maybe the next meeting, now, the rep from, Azora,
John Spencer.
yeah, had offered to come by and talk, so if you want us to bring them in, we can do that.
I don't know if I can get him on the 13th.
Let's, can we throw it, we don't have a whole lot of, we got that window and we're in the holidays. We put him on there and if he doesn't show, we table it and put it on the next, right? We get him here, great.
Shoot back an email asking them to get a
Yeah,
hold of
just shoot me
him.
an email on what all you need.
That's all I'm asking.
You got mine last week, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And you do have a handout with the email that he sent me that kind of breaks down a little bit of what his company does to give you an idea.
Yeah.
And then you have the fund view one too.
Ramsey, any other updates on yours?
No, that's it for me.
I need the number of water meters. Go ahead.
On Arrowhead specifically?
The whole
The
neighborhood.
whole, okay.
Yeah.
Shoot an email asking.
And then, do we have to do an engineering plan or have an engineer draw it all out, or are we able to?
Not
Not
necessarily.
necessarily, we
Because
just,
we already have an
I mean,
idea.
we have means
do
to
it
save
in
money
phases
for that.
and not even cut it over until you get all the, don't cut it over into the overline at all.
so we think we have an idea of how we could move forward with it.
Yeah. We just need
So
money.
we need to create.
So, I mean, the 55,000 from my budget for the admin could have went to that, right?
I'm confused.
So 55,000 of my budget is paying for the admin, correct?
Uh-huh.
Oh, you're saying spend it there instead of an admin.
I mean, Ramsey mentioned last time he'd like somebody for grant writing. It's cheaper to outsource it.
Possibly, but I don't think that's all that admin's gonna do for us, okay? I think what we're looking for is not just the grant writing, but the grant administration as well as the, overview of all of the things in planning and keeping focused the city.
So moving forward, so next year, am I gonna be giving another 55 grand towards it?
Probably. But it's, so, I can't really speak for the budget the way it is, but the way I understand it is, water is going to contribute to all of the positions in the city that contribute to the water department's functions, right?
Right.
So salaries being one of those.
Mhm.
But if if we have a project, something like what Chad's talking about with the Arrowhead water has the most money in the city. Right? Whether or not some of it's going, whether or not what's going in, what's in the budget today is going to pay salaries in the head count is really not, it's really immaterial. If there's a project that we need, we have money in the water department to provide to the water department for whatever they need, right? Because that's actually, but it has to be spent in water.
Right.
So it's much less cumbersome for the budget to come out if we have the money there and we have a surplus of money, which we have in the water department, which we found last year. You're thinking of two different things. You're thinking of budget versus total dollars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Versus CapEx.
Yeah. Budget is the amount we give you to spend. CapEx, or total dollars we have, is the amount of money we have in the entire department to spend. Right? We got to keep a certain reserve amount, but then there's that money that's on the other side, but it has to be spent on water.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? So by using budget from water to pay for part of the admin, it allows us to have money for police department, for park, for streets, for whatever, right? It frees up that $55,000 you contribute from water because you have half of the salary and half of the resource. It's not like we're just taking money from you. You also are going to have that person to come in and go, you're going to be able to say, hey, I need help with this. And that person's job is going to be to get you that. So by contributing to that fund, you get to free up money for streets or for signs or for lights or for whatever that's not water, because we can't spend the water money on anything but water. That's why there's a surplus in water.
And did I understand last time you said you think the Arrowhead project is about $100,000?
Well, depending on how many, this has only got one fire hydrant over there.
Yeah, they do.
The whole neighborhood.
So adding more fire
I need
hydrants is
more
gonna
for
bump
sure.
that cost
It's gonna
up.
go way up.
Yeah.
They're $5 grand a piece
I
or
think-
something like that.
I think y'all have pretty good of an idea, so maybe the three of us, let's sit down and kind of look at ways to plan it out, to see if there's a way that we can think outside the box for the city to start versus a grant. But we're gonna have all those numbers, meters, how many more hydrants.
We'll do smart meters further too. We're already talking about.
I mean, we don't have to put them all in the same area, I don't believe.
No, and one of the things that they are gonna bring us is what they see based on the meter location as a logical transition from our current meters to the smart meters.
Yeah.
That's what you sent me that the list of the meter location.
Mhm.
And so they were gonna produce a plan. We can talk to them and see if they want to prioritize Arrowhead.
You can't prioritize for the old pipes out there, right?
No, that's hard to burn.
No, but
That's
when
okay.
Yeah,
When
so,
they do the switch over,
yeah.
because when they do the switch over, they're gonna have to disconnect the old pipes and then hook up the new water meter and all that.
Ideally, I think it would be helpful is if we got the radio reads around the same time we're doing the renovations to Arrowhead, that we could put the new ones starting there.
That would make good sense.
It would make good sense, but I don't know that we're gonna be able to do Arrowhead that fast.
No, they're
I
bringing
think
them
we're
like
gonna
this.
have
They're
to
bringing
break
them
it
next
down.
meeting.
JD said
No, I'm
he has
talking
to
when we
do 2
get the
weeks.
full.
Yeah. JD said 9 days.
Where's the 100 and probably about 50 grand?
Yeah, that's the question. We need a trencher too, probably.
Yeah. Let's go back to the old dry erase board.
So come to us with the numbers though. You know, I mean, it's real hard to say, it's real hard to say, we can do this, we can't do this, or we'll get behind this, or we'll find a way, if we don't have a number to say, this is the number we're shooting, right? Put together the numbers, and I promise you, I'll get behind it as well.
Yeah, that's where we're getting water meters.
I
Some of them
think
have
y'all
2
have-
water meters.
Gotten enough information that we can go back to just like the water line over there and break out the dry erase board and let's figure out where to go.
Chris just likes the smell of those little markers.
I like to look all the pros and cons. And all the dollar amounts. All right, what else?
Where are we at, Chad?
That's all I got for now.
All right.
Great.
Update on the park project, you guys heard earlier where we're at, you know, that I'm really excited about that. I have not done anything on widening Maze Lane, although, I hope we did get everything cleaned up on Maze Lane that we had chopped down.
Rabbit Cove so far.
Rabbit Cove, not on Maze, but on Rabbit Cove, that whole area.
There's more to be cleaned, but they're still doing work.
Apparently it's pretty rough cut, but at least it's cut. So, audits and past agendas on audits, Mary and I talked today. She has a meeting tomorrow with, the audit group, correct? And, the reason that I'm pushing this one pretty hard is because on the park grants that I've already looked at, being able to apply for, and I think this is going to affect some of these grants that we have in the comprehensive plan, is that without an audit completed in the last 24 months, we can't even apply.
Yes, sir.
And that is gonna be an absolute sticking point if we're gonna try to go get grant money, we have to have them. So, Mary, my ask to you for this is, whatever resources you need, whatever you need from council to get these done, it's worth the investment for us to get those resources to you and get them done and make them a priority. Because having a great comprehensive plan, having a great plan to do water meters, having a great plan to do water lines, having a great plan to do all that is wonderful. But if we need grant money to get any of that done, we can't even apply, then you get exactly 100% of nothing if you don't apply. And so we have to have we at least need to get our name in the hat to get the money. That's how important it is to us.
When's the last time we got a grant?
We're in the Myrtle one right now.
Have we ever had one before?
So we got this grant, they started the application process 23. And then the construction started last year, this year.
This year.
It's the water.
Water, yeah.
Water plant improvement grant.
But that they applied in 23. We had an audit in 21. No, we just finished 21. We're in the process of 21. Yeah.
And they were behind then too, but there's been new laws and new things put in place for audits.
So
Requirements. But like I said, I've got a meeting with the auditors tomorrow. They are verifying some events, and then they'll be ready to present as soon as they've already got the draft presentation already done. They just got to finish filling in the few blanks. The CPA is cleaning up the books from 22, 23, and 23, 24. They're in the process of that. Don't know as far as the timeline when they'll be done. I did reach an email out to them, and they responded with me some login information for QuickBooks. They've got that. All I have on that one, and hopefully we'll see February. We'll be looking at, most likely February, we'll be looking at a report for 21, 22.
you kind of skipped over this. That's really scary. That they reached out to you and said, we need to know how to log into QuickBooks. In other words, they haven't tried. I'm not
disagreeing.
Yeah, this is not upset with you. This is, do we need to find another CPA? Do we need to put that? When I say resource, I mean, if we need a better or a different group to do our audits and to do our whatever, let's say we need it and let's get it done.
Our previous CPA is no longer there, so they were having to reconfigure that. So I mean, if you guys want to look at something else, we can. I've already spent quite a bit of time with them on our current books that we've got.
Do we trust them to get 24, 23, and 24, 24, 25?
It's been a group of different things. So whether it's either been held on the city from not responding and getting things done, because that did happen for what, the bulk of 24, I think. Documents weren't given, and they quit responding as much as we quit responding. And then 25, we've been really pushing to get it done. They can only, because we're behind, our auditors can only really do ours in their off season, which is typically the summertime. So we spent a heavy amount of time this year with them on getting this one done, and I plan on doing 2 of them in a row.
Here's a
this
dumb
summer.
question. They're working on 21.
Yes.
Would it be more beneficial to us if they work on 24?
No. I asked that question. They told me no.
We can't do that?
No, they told me it wouldn't make sense. They would be going back doing the same thing,
I don't
doing
sound like they're
22,
doing
23,
anything with
24.
audits.
They would rather.
It's taking that long. We need to look
But
somewhere
it's
else.
not going to take them, when I spoke with both the
4 years?
no, City Health paused for a long time.
Like I say, let's not
Yeah.
throw all the blame on them.
No, I'm not blaming, I'm just saying,
Paused on getting them done for
Can we have
quite
somebody
some
not put
time.
us on the back burner and say, oh, we'll do it on winter time?
But that's the problem with that is they're doing all these other ones, so you gotta fit in there during their spare time to do ones that should have already been done. And that might be where you look at getting additional help, but
I mean, you can. So when I spoke with our current auditor, and our CPA, when me and the auditor talked, he said, we've got to get this one done. This has been a group effort as far as where it's lacked. By getting it done now, our original goal was to have it done by December, but we're looking at close to February before the report is done. And then he would like to say that they could do the next two by the summer and have them completed, and we could be up to current by the end of 26. That was our
so by the end of
discussion.
26, they're auditing the 25 plus.
26, yes.
That would be phenomenal.
That is, yeah.
And that's a strong goal, but,
There's technology.
I would like to make it a standing agenda item for them, for us to have a report from them. Not that I don't trust what you're saying, but I want to see something from them. I want to see something physical from them that they have completed. We've been talking about this for 6 months, since I've been asking about it for 6 months. And in 6 months, the reports that you give me, I trust every word that you say. But it's my world revolves around trust but verify, right? So trust but verify. I'd like to verify that some of the stuff is being done by them. I trust that you are doing, and you've shown me, here's what I've talked to them. I've had this meeting, I did this. I would like to see the progress from them because I want to see it get done and not kick us in the behind on the other things that we want to do as a city.
How hard would it be to get somebody else to do the audits?
I have no idea. I do know that it doesn't have to be a CPA. It can be an independent auditor.
It does, but this was a question as far as if you're doing it independent versus CPA.
Sure.
I've had those concerns. They just changed the law where you don't necessarily have to have a CPA, but it's still a safer option. They know what they're doing.
We could have a CPA audit the auditor, right? Take them 30 minutes to run the numbers on somebody already having done all the numbers.
Right, so you've got a meeting.
Yeah,
Good.
Yep. You've already got a meeting with them.
Yes, tomorrow.
Sounds like you're wanting at the very minimum, if we stay with them, that you want monthly updates.
I would like a monthly update from them.
Make sure that goes back in an email.
I'd like them to explain why it's taking so long, right? It takes someone to do an audit to start one.
We can chat. Let's chat about that.
Any other discussions on the legacy projects?
Social media presence. I have lots of ideas about that. I have to filter out before I want to talk about it a lot. And just like the way I say filter. And I have done absolutely nothing on the elementary school.
Nothing else, guys?
It's not built yet.
Well, they're auditing the dirt right now. And it's going to be about 4 years before they get all those soil samples down. And all right, I'm here for the brevity.
Okay, we're gonna move on to number 14 is citizens input related to non-agenda items. I haven't had anything turned in.
Can I make one since even though because I am a citizen? Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right.
You still get 3 minutes.
or flip that puppy over.
And time.
I've received several citizen inputs on the park being closed after dark, and I get it that we've tried to close the park, but we have a light event going on with Christmas decorations that we probably shouldn't close the park until maybe 8 or 9 o'clock. However, this concept has kind of come up a lot over the years about the park having the gates and stuff, and whether they close or open, or when they're closed or when they're open. What my suggestion is, as a citizen, is to update the cameras and increase the patrols and add additional lighting into the park. And then it would deter maybe having to lock the park at all. Because, you know, people want to go fish, and people fish for catfish at night and stuff like that. So as a citizen, I would like to see updating the cameras to the better ones. I know we put cameras in there and that's done a good job. However, updating them to the super duper ones that the police department uses would be a really nice addition at the gate, so they could read license plates on the poles by the basketball court and the bathrooms to keep them from being destroyed. Then increase patrols and add additional lighting in the park while we're talking about street lights. That's park lights. And then I would like to remove the gates altogether.
I do have a,
So who are you gonna get to control those ones, like one offset?
This is just sensitive button input.
I did that on purpose.
I will tell you after.
I did that on purpose. My 3 minutes are up.
No other citizens input? So number 15, entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
A motion and a second.
It was the second. Thank you. Thank you.
Go, Kevin.
Great sprinkle.
We're adjourned at 8:23.